The 2022 NBA draft is now over. 4 Duke players got taken in the first round. That ties a school record. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers are right back where they started before this week actually started on a Monday. The Twins and Guardians now find themselves tied at top of the division in the American League Central. The Boston Red Sox started a 3-game set against the Cleveland Guardians in Cleveland. I will talk about that. Freddie Freeman returns to Atlanta as the Braves face the Dodgers. The NASCAR Cup Series this week is at Nashville, and I will have my closing thoughts, and I'm going to have a lot to talk about. And we will start the show today with a good old-fashioned song, and we will start the show right after this. And we open the show today with the NYPD Blue theme song because last night's NBA draft was in Brooklyn. And what a night it was last night. 4 Duke players got taken in the first round. Paolo Banchero, he was taken number 1 in the draft by the Orlando Magic. During his college career, this guy averaged 18.8 points per game. This could be the blessing that the Orlando Magic need. Mark Williams, he was taken number 15 in the first round. He's going to the Charlotte Hornets. This guy's made 76% of his shots during his college career. And if he can keep this up, he can take the Hornets to the playoffs. That would be something. Going 16 in the draft is A.J. Griffin. And he's going to the Atlanta Hawks. This guy is is one of the best three-point shooters. He made 46% of his threes, and he converted 48.1%. The Atlanta Hawks need a three-point shooter. And that is something that the Hawks need. Going with the 26th pick, Wendell Moore Jr. He's going to the Minnesota Timberwolves. This guy is the X Factor, and he was the X Factor at Duke. Keep that in mind. He made more open three-pointers in his college career. And he's one of 5 players ever to average 13 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game. Wendell Moore Jr. is a perfect fit in Minnesota, and that would be good to see. Now, those are the 4 Duke players that went in the NBA draft last night. But the Big Ten Conference, they had a pretty successful night. I mean, the first Big Ten player to go was Keegan Murray of Iowa. He's going to the Sacramento Kings. This guy knows how to shoot the rock. He's made 63% of his baskets from the 2-point range, but if you go beyond the arc, he shot 40% from 3-point land. And that really says a lot right there. I think Keegan Murray is going to be perfect in Sacramento. He's going to be a great player. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Now, number 5 in the draft, Jaden Ivey of Purdue. He went 5th in the draft, and he's going to the Detroit Pistons. I hope and pray Jaden Ivey has a great career in Detroit. The Pistons need some help, and Jaden Ivey may be able to give it to him. He averaged 17.3 points per game during his college career, 4.9 rebounds per game, and 3.1 assists per game. That was last season. And I'll tell you right now, Jaden Ivey, I hope he does have a great career in the NBA. He's going to the Detroit Pistons. His mama made him proud last night. Actually, Ivy made his mama proud. And that's the best part of it. Going 10th overall in the draft, Johnny Davis of Wisconsin. Mr. Johnny on the spot. He's going to the Washington Wizards. Here's a guy that knows how to shoot. He knows how to shoot the basketball. He shot 48% from the floor, and he shot 31% from beyond the arc. Go back to January 5th of the season. Go back to the 5th day of 2022, like on January 5th. He had a 37.14 rebound explosion against Purdue. That says a lot right there. Johnny Davis is what the Washington Wizards need right now. The Wizards missed the playoffs last year. Is Johnny Davis the answer that the Washington Wizards need? Only time will tell that. But I'll tell you what. This could be a big help. The first Ohio State player to go, and I'm a Buckeye fan through and through. The first Buckeye player to go is Malachi Branham of Ohio State. He's going to the San Antonio Spurs. His scoring instincts are the best of the best. He shot 44% from the field, and he had 15 points in seven of his eight games at least. He averaged 15 points per game in 7 of 8 games in the final 8 games of the regular season last year. Could Malachi Branham be the answer for the San Antonio Spurs? I think so. I really do. Going 32nd, and this is a second round pick. Caleb Houston of Michigan. He's going to the Orlando. Excuse me. He's going to the Orlando Magic. Last year at Michigan, he shot 41%. Now, if he wants to be a successful player in the NBA, he's got to go back to his high school days when he shot 41% from beyond the arc instead of 31% from beyond the arc when it was time at Michigan. That's the only concern I have about Caleb Houston. He was a 41% three-pointer shooter in high school, but it dropped 10% to 31 in his time in Ann Arbor. That is my only concern that I have, and my only draft concern right there. And I had to make a second page because there were so many picks from the Big Ten last night. I didn't have a chance to write them all down, but I wrote down the ones that mattered to me. The 35th pick overall, and he's a second-round pick. Max Christie of Michigan State. He's going to the Lakers. The only draft pick the Lakers have, and they got him. He only shot 25.6% from beyond the arc, but he can shoot 40% from half court. He's got to get those numbers up. The Lakers need help. Basically, what needs to happen is the Lakers need to get some of those egos, like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and they got to get their egos in check. That's what the Lakers need to do. I think my heart goes out to Max Christie because he's going to have to deal with those big egos right there, right out of the gate. And that's what worries me. The 41st pick in the second round, and a second-round pick, and this was a real shocker to me, E.J. Liddell of Ohio State. He's going to the New Orleans Pelicans. Last year, he shot 38% from beyond the arc. And in his final season at Ohio State, he averaged 20.6 points per game, 7.2 rebounds per game, and 2.9 blocks per game. He could be the blessing that the New Orleans Pelicans need. I like this one. Now, I feel bad for Liddell because he was a first rounder. If he hadn't struggled in those last 4 games, he would have gone first round, no question. But for him to get the 41st pick overall and to be a second rounder, that kind of shocked me a little bit. But it is what it is. And that's just all there is to it. All right, now. That's the NBA draft portion of the show. The draft is out of the way for 2022. Now we look ahead to 2023. This year's NBA draft was a success, as always. Commissioner Adam Silver, it was so good to see him back after COVID-19 protocols. But the star of the show was the Deputy Commissioner, Mark Tatum, in his hometown in Brooklyn. He's a Brooklyn-born native, And he's a pretty cool dude. I like him. And I also like Adam Silver. They keep it straight and simple. And that's all there is to it. Now, we have something else we need to talk about. Let's move on. The draft is over. Now we can focus on some Major League Baseball. And what a week we had. 2 huge series that could have been make or break. I want to start with the Brewers and the Cardinals because guess what? They're right back where they started. Tied atop of the division. The Cardinals took 2 on the road from the Brewers in Milwaukee. They had a 1-game lead. The Brewers had a 1-game lead, only to blow it. But anyway, it is what it is. And this 4-game set is over. But how did it go? How did we get to this point? Well, let's think about this a minute. Paul Goldschmidt of the St. Louis Cardinals. This guy's hitting .340. But he did not play the entire series, just a heads up. He was 2 for 9 in this 4-game set with 4 runs, a double. He had a home run, 2 RBIs, 3 walks, and he struck out 4 times. That's just some food for thought. Brendan Donovan. He actually got to play the series, and this guy's a 300 hitter. He's hitting .310. He was 3 for 12 with 2 runs, a walk, and he did strike out 4 times, unfortunately. Tommy Edman. He could have had a better series. He had his struggles. 2 for 16, but he did have 1 run. He did have a double in the series, I'll give you that. A walk, but, and this is a biggie, he struck out 6 times. Nolan Arenado. This guy's hitting .281. He went on a kind of a tear. He was 6 for 16 with 3 runs, 4 doubles in the series. And yes, that is the truth. He had a home run, 3 RBIs, and he only struck out once. Arenado was a real hero in Goldie's absence. Now, as far as the Milwaukee Brewers go, the hitting was not that good. Rowdy Tellez, he's only hitting .249. He was 2 for 12 in the series with a run, a double, a home run, 2 RBIs, a walk, and he did strike out once. Andrew McCutchen, he's hitting .247. He was 4 for 14 in this series with 2 runs, a double, a home run, 2 RBIs, and he did only strike out once. I'll give him that. Christian Yelich, an MVP candidate from a few years ago. He's hitting .240. He was 5 for 12 in this series with 4 runs. And yes, he had 3 doubles in the series. No lie there. 1 RBI, and he did walk 5. And he did have 5 walks. Jace Peterson. He played the whole series, yes. But he was only 1 for 9 with an RBI, 1 walk, and he did strike out 4 times. But if you want a pitching performance for this 4-game set, I've got one gem for you. From the Milwaukee Brewers, Corbin Burns. In the opener on Monday night, he pitched 7 solid innings, gave up 2 hits, walked 2, he struck out 10. He's 5-4 with a 2.31 ERA. That is very important there, too. Josh Hader recorded 2 saves in the series, and he's got 21 on the season. Josh Hader is a very dangerous individual. How about a 0.3 ERA? That's what the Brewers had. So the series ends in a draw. A 2-2 draw. But the Cardinals and the Brewers will be playing each other more times down the road this season. Don't worry, NL Central fans, including myself. There will be another showdown. Because these teams have more meetings coming up during the regular season. And that's all there is to it. All right. Let's move on. The Cleveland Guardians and the Minnesota Twins are now tied atop of the American League Central. The Twins had a 1-game lead going in. The Guardians actually had a 1-game lead before yesterday in a 1-0 loss. So now these 2 teams are tied atop of the division going into the weekend. And I will be talking about the Guardians a little bit more later on in the show, so stay tuned. But for this 3-game set, and it was an important one, Oscar Gonzalez, he actually played pretty well this series. He's hitting .323. He got called up. He was 3 for 13 with 3 runs, a double, a home run, 4 RBIs, a walk, and he did have 3 strikeouts. Only downside. Jose Ramirez, Mr. Cleveland himself, 3 for 13 with a double, 3 runs, and only 1 strikeout. Not a bad series for him. Andres Gimenez, he's hitting .304. He was 3 for 10 in the series with a double, an RBI, and a strikeout. He had a big RBI in either the game on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't remember which one, though. But the Guardians came out on top because they had, and I'll tell you what, they came from behind on Wednesday night down 10-7 in the top of the ninth. It was more like the Twins' bullpen let them down. Let the Twins down, and that's all there is to it. But as far as the Minnesota Twins go, Luis Arias, this guy's hitting .349. But in this 3-game set, when he needed to be red hot, he was 2 for 13 with a run, a double. He did have a home run and 4 RBIs. Yeah, I think he had the grand slam, had the granny on Wednesday. Carlos Correa, the former Houston Astro, he's actually getting hot now. He's hitting .303, and in this 3-game set, he was 6 for 13 with 2 runs, a double, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, but he did strike out 3 times, unfortunately. Gio Urshela, the only non-300 hitter, but he's hitting a respectable .261. He was 4 for 12 in this series with 3 runs, a double. He had a triple in the series. Very impressive. A home run, 3 RBIs, and 5 strikeouts. But if you want a pitching performance, I've only got one decent one. Devin Smeltzer yesterday. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, and struck out 3. But he does have a 4-1 record with a 3.05 ERA. But for the Cleveland Guardians, I got one pitcher that I want to talk about. Emmanuel Clays. He had 2 saves in this series, and he's got 17 on the season. And this guy is dangerous. He has a 1.48 ERA. This would be a closer I would want in a make-or-break situation. The Guardians and Twins are now tied atop of the division as we go into the weekend. The Guardians face the Red Sox in a very important 3-game set. And I'm going to talk about the Guardians and the Red Sox here in just a few minutes. I want to get you guys ready for it. A very important weekend. But the first thing I want to do, you guys already know one of the biggest 3-game series coming up, and it starts tonight. The Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Atlanta Braves. Freddie Freeman is now a Dodger. This is going to be hard for him, and that's the truth of the matter. But I've got the pitching matchups for the weekend, and I have 2 players on each side that I want you to pay attention to. Tonight's matchup, the Friday nighter, the opener. Julio Urias will be going for the Dodgers tonight. He has a 4-6 record with a 2.56 ERA and 62 strikeouts to his credit. And who will he be facing tonight? Ian Anderson. He has a 6-3 record with a 4.35 ERA and 59 strikeouts to his credit. This is a very important 3-game. This is a very important one tonight. This is make or break for somebody. Now, on Saturday, this is the one that kind of has me surprised a little bit. Andrew Heaney will be going for the Dodgers. He has a 1-0 record with a 0.59 ERA and 23 strikeouts to his credit. He will be facing Max Fried. Max Fried, he has a 7-2 record with a 2.77 ERA and 83 strikeouts to his credit. What a mismatch this is going to be. Then, on Sunday, and this is the game on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. The Dodgers will be sending Tony Gosselin to the mound. He has a 9-0 record with a 1.58 ERA and 64 strikeouts to his credit. And who will he be facing? The Atlanta Braves will be sending Spencer Strider to the mound. He has a 3-2 record with a 3.40 ERA and 72 strikeouts to his credit. This is going to be a fun one. But if you look at the hitting department for this 3-game series, I got two players for the Dodgers. Mookie Betts. He leads the team in home runs with 17. He has 17 home runs, 40 RBIs, and a 273 batting average. Not a bad deal. But Trey Turner, he could be more dangerous. He's hitting 312 right now with a slugging percentage of 478. 9 home runs, 51 RBIs. And as for the Dodger, and as for the Braves, they still have Austin Riley. 18 home runs, 41 RBIs. He leads the team in home runs. And he also has a 255 batting average. But if you want a real hero, Dansby Swanson. He's hitting 302 right now with a slugging percentage of 500. 12 home runs, 41 RBIs. This is going to be a fun series. Freddie Freeman is returning to Atlanta as a Dodger. How will he be received? We'll have to wait and see on that. Give me just a second. I want to take a drink of something. There we go. Now, the Guardians and Braves Dodgers, a great 3-game set. I am looking forward to it. But another 3-game set I'm looking forward to. The Cleveland Guardians against the Boston Red Sox. Now, the hitting I will get to in a minute. But I need to talk about something else. The pitching matchups. Because this is going to be interesting to see how this goes. Tonight's pitching matchup for the Red Sox Guardians and the Red Sox are sending Nick Pivetta to the mound. He has a 7-5 record with a 3.31 ERA and 82 strikeouts to his credit. The Cleveland Guardians are sending Cal Quantrill to the mound. He has a 4-4 record with a 3.77 ERA and 44 strikeouts to his credit. This is an interesting matchup and one that's going to have most people concerned. Why do you ask? Because Quantrill's had some issues. And Nick Pivetta, he's not exactly playing A-ball himself. Now, he does have 82 strikeouts, but a 7-5 record with a 3.31 ERA, good, but not great. Now, the Saturday matchup. The Red Sox will be sending Josh Winkowski to the mound. He has a 2-1 record with a 3.68 ERA and 9 strikeouts to his credit. We don't know much about him. I can't really give you the book on him. But the Cleveland Guardians, I can tell you this much, they are sending Shane Bieber to the mound. He has a 3-3 record with an ERA of 3 flat and 84 strikeouts to his credit. I love the Guardians' chances on Saturday. But the Sunday matchup is going to have a lot of Guardians fans concerned. And this could be a pitching mismatch. The Red Sox are sending Rich Hill to the mound on Sunday. He has a 3-4 record with a 4.35 ERA and 50 strikeouts to his credit. And the Guardians are sending Aaron Savale to the mound. He has a 2-3 record with an ERA of 7.25. Yikes. And 37 strikeouts to his credit. Excuse the yikes. But when you see somebody going to the mound with a 7.25 ERA and getting a start, it makes you think, why is he not back in the minors? But if you look at the hitting for this 3-game set, the Red Sox have that covered. Rafael Devers, he's hitting 328 right now with 16 home runs, 43 RBIs. Xander Bogaerts, he's hitting 325. He's actually hitting 335 right now with a slugging percentage of 484. And Trevor Story, 11 home runs, 48 RBIs. He's only hitting 223. I threw that in there because he leads the team with RBIs this season. This is what the Cleveland Guardians pitching staff is going to have to deal with, especially Devers and Bogaerts. And there's cause for concern. But the Guardians have a couple of 300 hitters themselves. Jose Ramirez, he's hitting 301 right now with a slugging percentage of 623. That's what the Red Sox are going to have to deal with. 16 home runs, 62 RBIs. It's all about him, but not completely. Andres Gimenez, he's hitting 304 with 7 home runs and 33 RBIs. He's a dangerous individual. And Ahmed Rosario, he's hitting 276 right now with 2 home runs and 18 RBIs. He's the only non-300 hitter who can actually do a lot of damage. The Guardians and the Red Sox is a huge 3-game set. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this one goes all the way to the end. 3 games over the weekend between Cleveland and Boston. We'll see how it goes. The series is at Progressive Field. There's some good news there. Now let's move on. The NASCAR Cup Series is going to be back in action this weekend. They're going to be at Nashville on Sunday at 5 o'clock. The last time we saw the NASCAR Cup Series, Daniel Suarez became the first Mexican-born driver to ever win a Cup race. And he did it out of Sonoma, California, out of Sears Point, on the road race there. Now the NASCAR Cup Series returns to the ovals. We'll see how Daniel Suarez does on an oval track. But there's some drivers that are hungry for a win. Ross Chastain's already won twice this season. Ryan Blaney has yet to score a win. Joey Logano is the only Penske car. Joey Logano and Austin Cindric already have wins for the Penske team. Think back to February when Austin Cindric won the Daytona 500. Kevin Harvick, I would love to see him break a 2-year winless drought with a victory at Nashville. That would be cool. We'll wait and see what happens on Sunday afternoon at Nashville. It's a 5 o'clock race time. 5 o'clock race time. May the best man win. Or should I say, may the best driver win. Now, just to let you know real quick, the NTT IndyCar Series will not be back in action until July 3rd on a Sunday. And they'll be at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Wonderful track up in Lexington. No more than about an hour and a half and 2 hours away from my house. And I'm looking forward to that. I love the Indy cars, and they go to Mid-Ohio. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for my closing thoughts on this day. Everything that has happened this week happens for a reason. We saw a 4-game set between the Cardinals and Brewers where nothing was resolved at all. A battle of the beer cities. Milwaukee being Miller Brewing being represented by Milwaukee and Anheuser-Busch being represented in St. Louis. I do not know why the Brewers management or ownership decided to change the name of the field to American Family Field. Miller Park to me sounds a lot better. But that's for another time. This past week has been crazy for me. I come find out on Wednesday night, and I'm going to ask for some help here. Nothing financial, no donations, no nothing. Can you guys do me a favor and leave my father in your prayers? My dad is in the hospital with an infection in his heart, in his gallbladder and in his liver. They put tubes in him to kind of drain the infection out because antibiotics will not work. My dad's going to be in the hospital through the weekend. If you can leave a prayer for my father and leave a prayer for my family, that would be wonderful. I rarely go on the air with something like this, but I want to let all my loyal viewers know that sometimes you need to be knocked down a peg or two. And sometimes I need to let you know, sometimes, I am a human being, and I do believe in family. If you can say a prayer for my father, say a prayer for my dad, that would be wonderful. He's going to be in the hospital through the weekend. And when he goes home, he's still going to have the tubes in him to try to get the infection drained out. I'm going to the hospital to see him today. My sister talked to him last night, and he's in good spirits. I don't know how long we're going to stay. It's probably not going to be too long because he's probably going to be. It's going to depend on him. I just want to let you know, Dad, I love you, and I'm thinking about you every day. And I love you. You're the best. You're the best man in the world. And that's all I have to say on this day. Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this Friday. please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Scott Manning. All you have to do is type my name, scroll down, look for this pretty face, click subscribe, and you will see all the sports videos and all the sports shows I have done so far. Thank you guys so much for being with me here on this Friday. I thank you guys so much for being with me, and God bless. Goodbye, everybody, and I thank you.